So entitlements can be broken up into two categories, rights and desert. And each of these categories have two more subcategories, which are negative and positive. So let's start with negative rights. A negative right is a right to non-interference. The non in non-interference is where we get the negative in negative right. So in other words, a negative right requires that other people do not interfere with you in some way. So an example of a negative right is a right to life. So for instance, the right to life requires that other people not interfere with your life and your health, that they not cause your death and interfere with you in that way. Another example of a negative right is a right to property, right? Other people are not allowed to interfere with your property, hence you have a right to property, a negative right to property. Most of the basic natural human rights are probably negative rights. The right to freedom of speech, the right to freedom of religion, the right to life, the right to property. These are all negative rights that require other people to not interfere. A positive right is a right to recipients, a right to receive something from other people. Generally, a positive right is a right that's based on an agreement with others or on a contract with others. That is to say that you and another person have made an agreement, and based on that agreement, you or they have a right to receive something from the other person. So for example, you and I might agree that you'll lend me $20 with 5% interest and that I'll pay you back eventually. Based on this agreement, you have a positive right to that money plus interest, right? You have a right to be given that, to receive that from me. So notice positive rights almost require people to interfere. They require people to be involved in your life in some way, for you to receive something, for them to give you something. Whereas negative rights require people to not interfere, in essence, to stay away, mind their business. Okay, good. Let's move on to desert. Now, this might be a funny term or an odd term, but essentially what it refers to is the idea of deserving something. So for instance, positive desert is when you deserve something positive, like a reward or praise, right? So if you help someone carry a bunch of heavy bags into their apartment, right? Maybe you deserve a pat on the back or a handshake or a thank you. That is an example of positive desert, something that you positively deserve. An example of negative desert is when you deserve punishment. So for instance, in our society, if you commit a serious crime such as murder or treason, you can be punished with the death penalty. And that's, well, any form of punishment is an example of negative desert, but the death penalty would certainly be an extreme form of negative desert, that you deserve something extremely negative to the point where you deserve to die. So those are the different ways in which entitlements can be broken up. And I think that there's a specific reason that Arthur is dissecting entitlements in this way.